so it's going to be up for a few days now. And so we went over a lot of these topics, all right. But I'm telling you, the key is to learn the math, all right. So now we went over these topics, and these are some of the topics that are in this actual course, right? But there we have it. Oh, I'm sorry. There we have it. Okay, so let's just take a look at this one, and you can follow. All right. Now the correct way to do it. Now, of course, if you don't have your left hand, of course you can use your right hand, but you're going to use your thumb. All right, to touch middle C, and you can sing the note. You see? C, D flat, and we're going to ascend. All right, so we're going to go right to left. D flat, D, E flat, E, F, G flat, G. So what a good exercise to do is just take this, this one map, this chromatic map, and chromatic represents, we call it the creative scale, or the God scale, because all music is comes from the chromatic scale, which is just one note divided up into semitones, to half steps. All right, so the chromatic scale is composed of half steps, right? So we this is very important. It's just for improvisation, and now you don't even have to be with your instrument to do it. All right. So you know that B flat, B C, D flat, D, D flat, C, D flat, D, D flat, C, D flat, D, D flat, C, D flat, D, it's good to just mess around. And you don't have to be at the piano. E flat, E is here. E. Now to jump to F, F. You gotta jump from here to here, right? And then you keep going G flat, and so on and so forth. So you've got the octave on your hand. The Creator gave you 12 sections in these 4 fingers, and they each have 3 sections each, which represents 3 notes. And it's great as a warm-up tool, but you don't have to be at the instrument to do your own equations, because you have this tool with you. Okay, so the correct way is just touch the note with your thumb. Okay? Now this is music metaphysics, you guys. Okay? Now I want you to understand this and just practice it. Don't worry about it. Just practice it, and it's there for you. Like, you could be in a rehearsal and someone could say, okay, well, let's tune up, you guys. Okay, let's play B flat, and it'd be concert B flat. Well, that's there. So you can put your finger there, blah, B flat. Now that's B flat. Okay, now B flat. Descending is always going to be that way. All right. And you can just practice some of the intervals. C, B flat, C is always with a finger. B flat. really, I think this, I know this tool is going to be helpful to you, and you never even thought of it. You had your hand your whole life, and now you've got another use for your hand, and you can do this anywhere. Okay, now we went over a lot of this stuff. I'm just going to go before we go into really the topics for tonight. But it's easy to remember your key signatures, right? You got 4 sharps, 3 flats, and 2 sharps, 5 flats, 0, which C has 0 flaps and sharps, right? And B has 5 sharps. Okay, so you can remember these are 5, 0, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, B flat has 2 flats, yes or no? 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3, 4. So you got B flat, A flat has 4 flats. G has 1 sharp. And you've got 1, 6 flats on G flat. And then you've got 1 flat on F. So, you got your memorized. So we use the systems for improvisation, and you should be, the reason why, we teach this way. And like, I didn't invent all that. I studied with the masters, you guys. So I put this together into a real easy system, and not only like systems for improvisation. You could do all of those equations on your hand, and like say you're playing your minor chords, and we're going to talk about that. But you can move your minor chords chromatically. Now the key signatures, like C's is majors, right? So you say majors, so you have to do the relative minors. Now, like I said, pick one thing. So just say majors, right? So C majors, it's 0 flats and sharp. C major, right? Got no sharps and flats. That's there. Right now, if you go to B major, you got 5 sharps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You got G, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. Okay, now if you keep going, you're going to B flat. B flat's got 2, so it's 2, 3, 4, 1, 6, 1. Okay, and it just so that's the easy way. And like I said, these are maps. This is a key signature map. So if you're just working on your key signature, just focus on one thing. Focus on one thing. Then after a while, this is going to be your personal Palm Pilot, your personal tool, okay, in music and in metaphysics, okay, all right, because these are all going to be assigned star clusters in a minute. They're all going to be assigned constellations, okay, all right, and you're going to be able to see it, okay. So those are your keys. Now we went over this yesterday, like your whole tone scales. If you map those out, you see it looks like a DNA chromosome. But those are the whole tone scales, and only 2 of those. And it resolves, okay? Now you guys, there's only 2 whole tone scales, right? And then doesn't have a label, because the whole tone scale doesn't have a beginner or ending. So you can't say like it's an A whole tone scale. You can start on A, you could put the root on A, but it really has no beginner or ending. These are the systems for improvisation. And if you map it out in your hand, we use Adam and Eve as our analogy. Like that's A. If you want to label it, we call it A whole tone scale, right? Because Adam and Eve, there's only 2. And it resolves to 6 different places. There's only 6 notes in the whole tone scale. You understand? So depending on how you want to use it, but it's not a scale. It's part of the systems for like the chromatic. You can say the chromatic. It's not a scale, freaking scale. Scale has a beginning or ending. You know, has a weight, beginning or ending. Like C major, you start on C, ends on C. A major, what key you in, right? These are systems. Now, if you map it on your hand, you see it looks like a DNA chromosome, and the X in the middle. When we superimpose this stuff, it's going to be very interesting as you understand these 6, the whole tone scale. Okay, so there it is, and you can play your whole tone scale, and you should mess around. Like say, okay, I want to zone in on one thing using this chromatic scale map. So let me just learn how to map my whole tone scales, and it's not too hard. It's like a freaking chromosome scale. It's like it's like this one goes that way, and they link together. Like that. Okay? That's E. Start on E, if you want to say start on E, but she has no beginning or ending. Okay, so you say, okay. It could be any of these guys. It could be any of these guys. That's part of that group, that series, that whole tone series. And that's the other one. So, like I said, when you use the Palm Oracle, you could just use it for many different purposes so that you can really get familiar and do all of your equations, okay? And that's just using the chromatic scale map, okay? Now, I told you where the trinity of diminished are. So look at your hand again, you guys, and here is your trinity of diminished. These 3 things, these 3 sections on your hand, you didn't know they were there. These are the trinity of diminished, right? So you can say there's only 3 diminished scales. So E, D flat, B flat, G, B flat, D flat, E flat, C, A, G flat, D flat, A, C, E flat, D, B, A flat, A, G flat, D, D. Some of the resolutions. Now, we don't have time to go over all of these resolutions tonight, but you should know there's only 3 diminished scales in music and chords, because it's just going to invert. See, E, B flat, B flat, G, E flat, C. Okay. And they resolve. They resolve to 4 places, because 3 times 4 is 12. Okay. Now you get, like I said, get used to just recognizing your trinity of diminished on your hand now. Okay. And you don't have to be at the piano. E, D flat, B flat, G. You can sing better than me, right? E flat, C, A, G flat, D, B, A flat, A. And you're working your ears. And you're learning the relationships. And this is one of the most important topics of music. This is, this is part of what we call the first 6 symmetrical scales that we've been talking about, you guys. And they're not scales; they're systems. They're the systems for improvisation. Okay, you dig? All right. Now so now you can shed them anywhere, anytime.